Live from the NJ.com studio comes the only weekly TV podcast you'll need, where a lofty critic squares off with an obsessed superfan on everything from highbrow drama to lowbrow reality. The cocktail shaker is ready. Prepare for your TV hangover. Now, your hosts, Vicki Hyman and Erin Medley.
Hello and welcome to TV Hangover. I am one of your hosts, Erin Medley, alongside Vicki Hyman.
Hey, everybody.
You can follow us on Twitter at TV Hangover Show or send us an email at TV Hangover Show. No, that's not it. It's TV Hangover Show.
It's TV Hangover
at
Show.
At NJ@advancedmedia.com.
That's not too difficult.
I'd like to repeat that as the worst email address on the planet.
And who's the boss here?
I didn't make that email. Producer Alyssa, who is not here today, so Vicki and I are flying solo, created that terrible, terrible email address. Or we should say our IT department really created it.
Yes, they really did.
That
they
NJ...
Why could we not have just kept NJ.com?
I don't know, Vicki. So if you're looking to email us, don't. Just tweet us.
Please.
At TV Hangover Show.
We are very responsive.
At E_meds and at Vicki High, VICKIHY. Vicki, I want to say there's a lot to get to, but we are in the doldrums of summer.
Well, thank God for the Olympics, right?
Oh, my gosh.
I'm watching like so many hours and I can't pull myself away.
I have gotten to the point where I go on the NBC Olympics website and I set alerts.
Oh, really?
So that they'll send me an email when an event I really want to watch is happening.
Because I just watch anything.
Oh, whatever's on?
Yes.
You know what I always find fascinating? The two summer Olympic sports? Handball, which is not hitting a ball against a wall.
What is it?
It's like soccer, but like with a ball, or like field hockey.
Really?
I think so.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other one is kayaking.
Oh, yeah.
That's a thing. So here's my question.
There are a lot of things that you find out. There's golf for the first time today. No, since like 1904 or something.
Let me tell you what I'm not watching.
What?
Golf.
Okay.
It's boring when it's normally on. I'm definitely not. I'd rather have softball, which we will have in the next Summer Olympics, than golf. But my question is, when, between the 4 years between the summer games, do these people participate in competitions? Are there?
Yeah, they do. There are championships for the world championships, American championships for all these different sports. So they're still very active, and some of them actually have regular jobs too.
Where do I regularly watch the handball?
You don't.
league?
You don't. That does not get televised.
It doesn't happen. Okay, all right, that's fine. But my big sport is volleyball.
Really, the beach volleyball
and indoor. I play.
Oh, that's
indoor.
right. That's right. You are the elite athlete in this podcast. I'm sorry.
1 out of 2. No, yes, I love volleyball, and that is a sport that I watch when it's on, throughout the year. So it's not something that I'm only watching because the Olympics.
Can I ask you something? This actually bothers me a little bit, and it's probably the feminist in me. But why do the American women only wear those tiny little uniforms, and all the other there are other ones who are fully dressed?
Let's be clear.
I don't understand why that is.
That is untrue.
And how come the men's beach volleyball are wearing flappy shorts and t-shirts? What is that?
Let's be clear. That is untrue. It's not just the U.S. team that wears a bathing suit. Other teams also wear bathing suits.
Not all of them, though.
A lot of them do, unless it's a really conservative country. The only reason yesterday people were wearing long sleeve tops and pants, which the Americans were also
cold,
wearing.
Right?
It was cold and it was raining. But you're freaking on the beach. What else would you be wearing? Someone else asked me this question yesterday, and I was like, are you kidding me?
People want to know.
I
don't get it.
I've also been to beach volleyball tournaments where the men did not wear shirts.
Okay.
You're outside. It's the beach. It's sand. It's heavy.
They're tiny, tiny, tiny bathing
suits.
They're
not tiny.
Oh, they are tiny bathing suits.
Oh, I disagree. They're definitely
tiny.
Bikinis, but they're not tiny. Their boobs aren't hanging out. It's more like a sports bra.
I think we are getting off topic. I'm sorry. It's my fault. My fault. My fault. Completely my fault.
I'm totally okay with that.
Do you have a favorite Olympic moment so far?
Oh, my gosh. I will say my favorite Olympic moment is a volleyball moment. Mm-hmm. It happened last night. Kerry Walsh Jennings and April Ross were competing against the Swedes. And one of the Swedish women went to dig a ball, and she hit her head really hard on the sand. And I will attest to the fact that sand is hard, people, when you land on it in an uncomfortable way. And they thought she had a concussion, and she's like sitting on the sideline, like trying to decide whether or not she wanted to get back on the court. And basically Carrie Walsh Jennings was like, "Can I warm up?" And that was my favorite moment because it's like, I totally get it. Like, you may be injured, but we are in a competition. This is the Olympics. Like, I want to play. And I was all about that. That was my favorite moment. And then we won. And by we, I mean them.
Oh, of course.
Okay. What was your favorite moment so far?
Well, I mean, I really liked the swimming last night. I think the women's medley and they were the Americans were behind, and Katie Ledecky, who is just like a freaking fish.
Yeah.
I don't know what is going on there. Like, they were like a full second behind, and then she was like a full second. I'm like, I just, it was amazing to watch.
I think I also saw, was it last night swimming in the men's butterfly when the guy from Kazakhstan came in first, and they were like, Kazakhstan has its first swimming medal and it's gold, and it's like everyone's like, what? How'd that happen? But I love the Olympics.
And of course, any gymnastics.
Well, yeah,
gymnastics.
but here's the thing about gymnastics, right?
What is the thing about
NBC
gymnastics?
knows that it's the draw. However, the other day, the gymnastics team all-around final took place in the middle of the day, and then the results were like, we knew America won gold by 5 p.m. Freaking NBC starts airing it at 8 p.m., and then they break it up with swimming in between, as though there was something to like cut away from. Like, it already happened.
The swimming wasn't live.
The swimming was live.
Well,
no, because they didn't announce the results until midnight of the women's gymnastics.
But
thing.
you
I'm like,
knew
this
the
happened
results.
9 hours
But you
ago.
knew the
people.
results.
Correct, which is why I don't think they should have prolonged it. They were stretching it out for no good reason.
Well, I think they wanted to get as big an audience as they could for the gymnastics, but they didn't want to take away from something that was actually live, and we didn't know the results.
How about they just air gymnastics live?
That would be
because the Olympics are on all day, every day.
Yes,
right now. All right, so I want to get to some news. I just have one quick news item. It's not New Jersey related, but I found it amusing, so I decided that we should talk about it. Thomas Gibson has been suspended for at least one episode from Criminal Minds.
Is that Greg from Dharma and Greg?
Yes, it is.
Oh my God, okay.
And let me tell you why he was suspended.
Why?
Because allegedly, or according to TV Line and TMZ, he kicked a producer in the leg.
As one does.
I
have done that to Alyssa so many times. I've never gotten suspended.
Because sometimes, those producers just get on your darn nerves.
They're so annoying.
So annoying. So
I love not having Alyssa here.
Yeah, well, I'm sure she'll be happy to hear that. So the next time you kick Alyssa in the leg, you're going to be suspended for at least an episode of TV Hangover.
Yeah, so when you hear that we're going on a hiatus for the rest of the month, that's what happened.
Vicky's kicked someone. So apparently there was some disagreement on set. He kicked the producer in the leg, and he will be suspended for at least one episode, possibly two. What are the Criminal Minds fans going to do?
I don't know.
I didn't even know this was still on the air.
Oh, it is still on the air.
Wait, is this the one where the guy, Michael Weatherly, left?
No,
that was NCIS.
No, that was NCIS.
Oh,
God, no.
How does one keep up with the CBS
Well, NCIS
shows?
is like vanilla, and this is like vanilla with a lot of gore and gross stuff.
Okay, got it. It's currently in it's going into its 12th season.
It's insane.
It is insane. All right, so that was our one news item.
Hey.
No.
Okay. Your one news item.
No. We have other things to discuss, but that's like the news of the day. You have some TCA news, the Television Critics Association, still happening, people.
Still happening. It'll be over soon, from what I understand.
Are we in week 3 now?
I think it's like 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
But they're in the home stretch. CBS is trying to build up its streaming brand, and they are doing Star Trek Discovery. It's already been announced, which is going to be a 10-year before Captain Kirk. And they announced during TCA that it was going to follow a woman, which is not unknown in the Star Trek world. But it's the female character is not going to be a captain. It's going to be looking at Star Trek from sort of a different perspective, which sounds interesting. And they also confirm that they're going to have a gay character, which is not going to be is Mr. Sulu, the one who came out in the latest Star Trek movie, which, by the way, I hated.
Oh, I didn't see it yet. Don't tell me. Don't spoil.
The first two, I was in.
I'm sorry. The first two.
I was absolutely in for the first two. The third one, the story is so slight and mostly incomprehensible and just terrible.
I will say that I think when any movie gets to the third iteration, that's usually when it goes off a cliff, unless that movie is Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. Okay.
Because we're eight movies in, and I'm still all in for those movies.
And you're going to be even more into the next one because of
oh my gosh, the drama on the set.
Rock and apparently Vin Diesel drama.
Not getting along. This is happening on sets every day, people. These actors just cannot get it together.
They need to keep Instagram away from some of these people.
They need to follow the lead of Vicki and me because we get along so well. You don't know about my secret Instagram feed, do you? No, I don't, but I'll look for it. What else is happening?
Okay, so this will be very exciting for Erin. That Big Brother has gotten picked up for 2 more seasons in the summer. Plus, they're doing a digital-only Big Brother in the fall.
So and if you're a longtime listener of this podcast, we've had Andrew Zuckerman on the show before. He's a huge Survivor fan, which is also on CBS. He and I both watch Big Brother, and we've had the discussion. Will we sign up for CBS All Access to watch this digital-only season?
There's so many other things to watch during the regular season. Mm-hmm. Really? You're going to do this?
Here's what we're going to do. Don't tell anyone. We're going to sign up and share the account because we refuse to sign up separately.
Wow.
But we have to watch. If you're a fan of these shows, like if you're a fan of Big Brother, you're a fan of Survivor, you have to watch every season. It's just a thing that has to be done.
I don't agree.
Well, you're not a fan of either.
No,
so.
I'm not a fan of either. Actually, those are the big things coming out. Little tiny. I cannot believe this. Michael Imperioli, who in New Jersey, we all love him.
Of
Sopranos. Da, da, da. He's going to be starring in the 2nd season of Lucifer on Fox.
No.
As one of the brothers of Lucifer and the other guy's name I can't pronounce, Galadriel. I don't know. Michael Imperioli, what's going on with your career?
Now, where Michael Imperioli should have made a play to be on the night of.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. I mean, he actually could have done a good job in the John Turturro character.
True.
Yeah, I mean, he would have been good probably. And maybe he's got too much hair to play box because he boxed at the end of his career. And Michael's like very firmly in the middle of his career.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But there was something. He could have been a guard at the jail or one of the police officers. Yeah.
They have great actors playing small roles.
Correct. Oh, did you see Tretch? Well, we're going to talk about the night of later, but did you see Tretch from Naughty by Nature?
No, I did not.
I'll tell you who he was later.
Okay. There's a lot of the TCA that you're supposed to come there and tell stuff, and they didn't tell a lot, so we still don't know if X-Files is returning or not. We don't know what the next season of American Crime Story is going to be. American Horror Story is going to be about. Mm-hmm. And American Crime Story is going to be about Katrina, but we don't know what. But we are told that it's going to be completely different from OJ.
Right.
Which is a little sad.
And it's also a little scary because they're going to change the formula. It could have one of those season 2 slumps that we have discussed previously.
Which I think we're about to discuss.
We're going to get there. But before we get there, I just wanted to give a report. That's right. Last week, I attended the National Association of Black Journalists, National Association of Hispanic Journalists joint convention in Washington, D.C. I won't bore you with all the journalism stuff, but there were two. But there were 2 panels. One was for Shots Fired, which is a new show premiering on Fox in 2017, starring Sanaa Lathan and Tristan Wilds, who you know from The Wire and that 90210 reboot that only I watched.
Let's not forget about that.
Let's not forget Dixon till the end. And so it's a show that sort of tries to turn the recent shall we say, police shootings of unarmed African Americans.
Shall we say that?
Things have happened on its head. So in the show, Tristan Wilde's character is a police officer, and he has shot an unarmed white man.
And for those who don't know who Tristan Wilde is, he is a black actor.
He is a black actor, yes. And then Sanaa Lathan is an investigator with the Department of Justice, and there's another young actor whose name I can't recall right now. I apologize. He stars as the prosecutor on the case or with the Department of Justice, and they're investigating what really happened. It takes place in Charlotte, North Carolina, I believe, or a town right outside of it. And so the whole premise is based on race and the police and their interaction with people. Now, I think Vicki and I, when we were talking about the shows that were picked up for the new season, just based on the cut line, we said,
What network was this again? Fox?
Oh, I think we may have watched the trailer. And I know I wasn't into it, but they screened the entire episode, the premiere. I am in.
Really? What about it?
I'm in. The storytelling is great. I really like the characters. There's some depth there. I like the diversity of the cast. Helen Hunt is in it. Jill Hennessy, whom I loved from her Crossing Jordan days.
I love Crossing Jordan too. It's Bond over the 90s procedural.
I really love Crossing Jordan. They're both in it, so the cast is great. The story is great. I think there's a little bit of mystery, you're really trying to find out what happened in this case because it's not as clear as it seems.
So they don't show you the actual shooting?
They do not show you the shooting. You hear the gunshots, but you don't see the shooting. You only see the aftermath. And what I really like, the creators of the show were there. And now I'm going to have to look up their names because I feel badly about not mentioning them. But the creators of the show were there, and the way they presented it was that it is a 10-episode movie.
It is. Is it going to be a limited series? Because, of course, the question is, once they figure out what happened during the shooting, then where do you go from there?
They did not present it as a limited event series, but they did present it as a 10-episode movie, which I like because that's why I liked.
I know, but where do you go after you solve the mystery?
Hopefully,
does it turn into a procedural? What do you do with these people?
No, hopefully it won't come back. And
hopefully it won't come back.
Hopefully it will be so good, and then it won't come back. The same way I feel about Stranger Things. But the creators of the show are Gina Prince Bythewood and Reggie Rock Bythewood. They're a husband and wife duo. They're both writers and directors, usually of movies. If you saw the movie Love and Basketball, I believe, that also starred...
That was a long time ago,
yeah,
wasn't it?
that starred Sanaa Lathan as well. So they wrote and directed that. But it was good. I think you're going to really enjoy it, Vicki. Okay. So we have to watch. And then the other panel I went to was for the show Underground, which I started watching season 1, never finished. However, this panel completely spoiled what happened for me.
You're still slavery. Spoiler alert.
No. So in season 2, apparently we're going to be introduced to Harriet Tubman.
Oh, that's exciting.
Did
they cast Harriet Tubman yet?
No. I don't think they have. They didn't announce it at the panel, and apparently in the season...
Is it going to be a young, hot Harriet Tubman? Have to ask.
Probably.
Have to ask.
Because let me tell you something. Everyone in that cast is young and hot, except maybe Christopher Maloney. He's not young, but he's still hot.
He's still hot.
Agreed. So I'm very excited for the return of Underground Season 2. That's still a ways away. That's on WGN America. You may have to look up
which is a network you should check out. It's got good stuff on it.
What else do they have?
They have the David Morse drama that I really liked, Outsiders.
Is that the one where they live on the mountain?
Yes, they live on the mountain.
Oh my gosh, my dad was telling me about that. He's like, there's this really good show on really some network that I can't remember the name of, but there are these hillbillies and they live on the mountain.
It's actually really good. I think isn't that the network that airs Salem, which I actually don't watch?
I think so.
And of course they had Manhattan, which was canceled after 2 seasons, but you can still watch it online.
Speaking of season 2s, UnREAL had its season 2 finale on Monday, and I would like to say that it improved greatly upon the rest of the season. However, it did not.
Okay, I was like, really?
No, it just continued. The awfulness continued.
Oh my god!
Through the finale. So Vicki, set us up. Where are we when we head into the finale?
Oh my goodness. Well, Coleman, who we really didn't really know that much about going in. Rachel and he fell in love. He's the producer with this amazing heart who did this wonderful documentary that Rachel really likes. They fell in love and they decide they're going to take down Everlasting and, take their show on the road and produce. Well, he turned out to be a jerk.
He turned out to be a total a-hole.
Yes.
And it came out of nowhere.
It came out of complete... I mean, first, like, does it come out of nowhere if the character was already basically nowhere? I mean, we know so little about this character, and then there's this huge shift where, it was really actually unclear the last couple of episodes. Was he really caring about Rachel or not?
It was beyond unclear. I still don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and, because he slept with Yael, twice, the hot Rachel. He slept with her twice because he found out she was a reporter who was going to bring down Everlasting, decided to, put his lot in with her. And then, so at the opening of the season, basically, Rachel realizes, I think she might have realized because he slept with Yael, that she's going to stick with Quinn. They're going to take down Coleman. They basically kick him off the set and confiscate everything. So there's nothing for him to bring to the police or to the networks or to whatever.
Right, because in previous episodes, he got Rachel to confess that they had killed
Mary
by
swapping
in
out her
season
meds.
1. By the way, that Mary thing didn't need to come up again. There were I know you're in the middle of telling us where we were, but there were so many problems.
I mean, I wrote down this huge list of all the problems. I mean, there were so many dangling threads. Okay, so Rachel turns on Coleman. Coleman tries to get Yael and escape, and so he can tell everybody, what happened. Jeremy hears. This is the part that just killed me.
Yeah.
Jeremy, who had also another huge character turnaround because he started, he basically attacked Rachel,
right,
and was fired from the show, but they can't possibly bring charges up against him because he's got too much dirt.
Right.
So Coleman tracks him down and with this crazy caveman beard at a bar and convinces him to help take down Everlasting. He manages to get back on the set and hears Coleman and Yael basically joking about Rachel being raped by one of her mother's patients, which is the root of all of Rachel's instability.
Right.
Basically laughing about it like they're, hideous, horrible people. And yes, granted, I know Rachel was the one who had Yael.
We can just establish that everyone on this show is a hideous, horrible person, except for the suitor and Ruby.
And Ruby.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, Jeremy hears this and decides to go back to Rachel because I don't know why.
Neither do I. Also, let's not forget that Jeremy slept with hot Rachel.
Oh, I said that. Jeremy?
Jeremy.
Oh, did Jeremy sleep with hot Rachel? Oh, that while back.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Hot Rachel has slept with multiple people.
Yes, because she is a very responsible reporter. This is what all reporters do.
Yes. Let's not forget that she's a journalist.
She's a journalist, which never came up in the background check.
No.
So anyway, Jeremy, I guess I'm going to go ahead and spoil it. And I saw this coming a miles away.
Alert.
Jeremy goes back to Quinn and Rachel's side, and they basically, I guess he maybe cuts the brake lines on Jeremy's car, and Coleman and Yael go tumbling off a cliff, and they're most likely dead.
They are
so
dead.
that problem's over.
Yes,
and so Jeremy is back in the good graces of Chet and Quinn and Rachel, and the season ends like the previous season did with them, on chaise lounges, looking up at the sky and thinking about what horrible people they are. But how awesome they are!
You know what?
I don't know.
The show needs to end.
I don't know.
The show needs to end. I think the biggest problem with season 2 of UnREAL is that it was how many episodes? 8, 10?
10.
It was 10 episodes, and I think the writers tried to cram a 22 episode season into 10 episodes. So what you get were inconsistent characters because there was no time to develop those stories. So Coleman goes from good guy to bad guy over the course of 1.5 episodes because there's no other time. Now, am I saying that UnREAL needs to be 22 episodes? No. Absolutely not. 10 episodes is fine, but then you have to cut back on your storytelling. You can't tell every freaking story, and you can't have characters be untrue to themselves if you don't have the time to establish that they're now turning into a different person. And that, to me, I think was the number one problem. And I said this a few weeks ago, when Rachel said, oh yeah, let's call the police on the suitor when they took the car. Rachel wouldn't say that. That came out of absolutely nowhere.
But then they tried to double down on that by saying, yes, we call police all the time.
Right. It didn't make any sense.
I think that one of the biggest problems of the season, if not the biggest problem, was the hubris of the creators, who, it was sort of like a meta thing going on where Rachel in the show was trying to do something important by bringing a black suitor on, and the producers of the actual show of UnREAL were trying to do something important by having a show about race and police brutality, their very special episode, there are my finger quotes, and failing so completely to say anything of consequence about any topic at all. And then in the process of failing to say anything at all, then it's you totally diminish what the problem is. I mean, you had Rachel calling the police and the police and getting involved in an event with Darius and Romeo and two of the contestants, and Romeo being shot by the police.
By the way, Romeo makes miraculous recovery. He's there at the finale.
Yes, and this is all covered up somehow. We have an NFL star and his friend, Black, who are shot by police, who are part of a huge reality show. This completely gets covered up. No lawsuits are filed, and Romeo just shows up again, and basically it comes down to, I'm not talking to you, Rachel, because you got me shot.
Right.
And that was it.
Right. And there was nothing believable about this season. And I get it. It's called UnREAL. It's supposed to be a parody of, The Bachelor,
satire.
A satire of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. I get that. And I know it's a fiction show, but there has to be some basis in reality. And there was none.
I mean, the show is. I mean, also like just the show making, was like, we're live this week and we've got this curtain. I mean, it was like really the curtain down the middle of the thing.
I never understood the live, because some episodes of Everlasting were live and then other ones were taped. Like I didn't understand anything that was happening.
Shows like this do not like film the week before it airs.
Right.
It just doesn't.
Right.
But the things that were happening in the show also, I'm sorry, can I just go back to, there was a curtain.
Oh, yes.
Down the middle of an outdoor wedding chapel thing where they didn't know which one, there are two finals, they didn't know which one was going to get married to Romeo right there. They're on opposite sides.
No, not Romeo.
Curtain. I'm sorry, Romeo. I'm sorry, Darius.
Yeah.
They're on opposite sides of a curtain and their families are there and they get to the end and they see each other. It's like, oh, Darius didn't know. I mean, it was like... Right. It's the kind of stuff that you like. It's like,
what wedding have you ever been to where there weren't guests on both sides of the aisle? So didn't the curtain give it away? I mean, you would think it would.
Like, why is there a curtain here?
Well, that too. But also the blonde woman whose name I can't remember, who in the beginning was all into Darius, and then she started sleeping with Chet, and then they were in love, but then she went back to Darius. I was like, who are these characters? I don't understand
season,
them.
They actually had, the contestants actually were characters, and some of them were actually good characters. You had the closet lesbian cowboy rodeo star.
I liked her.
And the woman who ended up going to Joanna Brady's character.
Yeah, the one who he chose in the end.
He chose in the end and then, ran off. I mean, they were, good characters here, and here they're just nobody.
There were nobody, and they tried to make them someone, but they were just so unbelievable that you didn't get behind their stories.
Yeah. What did you think of at the end? I mean, there was a nice moment where Darius sees Ruby, and they decide to give their relationship a shot, and everybody is like, oh, yay. And you see Quinn having this, a very strong reaction, kind of like, oh, my God, this is actually love, and I will never have love, and wouldn't even talk about Quinn's random romance with the producer, and then they ended up falling in love in the course of one episode and deciding he has to have children. She finds out she can't have children, so she kicks him out, and that's it.
Yes.
And she's realizing, I've made all the wrong choices in my life because these two people have love.
Look, there are two. Vicki is exhausted.
I am exhausted. It was terrible.
It was such a bad season 2.
Mental health. How about the mental health issues?
I can't even get into the mental. There are so many things that they tried to tackle, and guess how many they did well? None of them. This was one of the worst. This is worse, guys, than when Friday Night Lights had Landry and Tyra try to cover up a murder. There is no writer's strike. So there's no reason why season 2 of UnREAL should have been this bad. This needs to be studied. This needs to go in the textbook. And someone needs to use this as a teaching tool, because otherwise we all wasted 10 weeks of our time.
If it came back, would you watch it?
It depends. When it came back, it would be summer, and what else is on? Because honestly, I don't know. I don't know. It was that bad. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Let's talk about something else.
Okay.
Let's talk about something that I am still on the fence about whether or not it's going to be good or bad, and that would be The Get Down, premiering this week on Netflix. And Vicki, what's the show about?
The Get Down is sort of like Vinyl, but better, but not great. But really interesting to watch. There's a lot of really interesting stuff going on in there. It's like you kind of have to sift through it, and there are just some real gems, but Baz Luhrmann, who is the director behind Moulin Rouge and Romeo and Juliet, is sort of doing this, one of his fantasias about the birth of rap and hip-hop in the South Bronx in the 1970s. And it's also a coming-of-age story with this young group of DJs and MCs and disco singers in this crumbling hellhole that is the South Bronx. There are some really interesting parts to it, but the premiere, I think, is going to be a big problem for people. It's an hour and a half long.
Very long.
And he just lets himself do. I mean, it's been called, like, I think one of the most expensive series on television. The guy has no editor. I mean,
Correct.
There are so many, like, wonderful little moments of the show. I mean, like, seriously, do you remember in the premiere you see Ezekiel, played by Justice Smith, who's wonderful. He's this young poet who is going to become a wordsmith. And he won a contest for the best poem. He wouldn't read it out loud, and he finally reads it to his teacher.
Right.
And it's about his parents dying in gun violence, and it brought me to
really
tears.
good.
It was beautiful, and there are a lot of little moments like that.
Or when the young woman, I can't remember her name because you know how I am.
Eileen?
Where she's singing. He's playing the piano for her,
yes.
and she's singing, and it's
Beautiful.
her voice is, I mean,
Beautiful.
Wow.
But it's just flabby and a little incoherent at times. You don't really know who a lot of these people are.
So here's the thing. Is it supposed to be... I had two main issues with it. Is it supposed to be campy? Because it's a little campy.
No. I mean, like, I think he's doing his signature sort of cartoonish touches to it. Like, there apparently, you probably know better than I would, in the African American community.
Would I?
I am not African American.
Yes.
There are big devotees of kung fu movies. So, like, when you have the whole kung fu thing going on,
right?
It does
like
get
Shaolin,
yes.
they keep talking about.
Yeah, and the other gang that's there, and the
yes.
whoosh, whoosh, kind of, so it is supposed to
but
be a little
it's not
campy.
a kung fu movie.
It's not, but, that's certainly a very strong influence, and you see that in points, and I think that's part of, like, the campiness, because there are certainly parts that are very just beautiful and soft.
This
and
is
quiet.
true, but some of the other campy things. So Jimmy Smits is on the show,
yes,
and he stars as a New York developer, and I think his character is one of. He's so over the top with it. I mean, it's amusing, but I just didn't know if that is like the intent. And then Giancarlo Esposito also stars, and he's trying to put on this Spanish accent, which sounds strange because it's Giancarlo Esposito, but it's like the extreme, and it's so over the top. And I just didn't know what I was supposed to think. Like, was this supposed to be funny? Is it a drama? Like, what are my feelings here? I need someone to tell me because I was unclear.
It is very tonally diverse, to put a nice spin on it. I can tell you, for having watched 3 episodes, that Giancarlo Esposito's character, I mean, like, a lot of the adult things I don't think are really played very well. His character is sort of one note.
He's a preacher?
He's a preacher who is the father of Mylene, the burgeoning disco queen, who he only wants to sing religious music.
Right.
And there are just a couple of really wonderful moments with her, especially in the second, I think it's the second episode, where he pushes her to the back of the choir, but she wants her big moment because she thinks there's going to be a big record producer in there, and then she's wearing this robe, and she takes off the robe, and it's great. It's really, really great. But I think that Jimmy Smits, who I think is a wonderful actor,
agreed.
I think he really comes into his own, and he has a wonderful moment in the 3rd episode, and so there is a lot more shading going on with that character.
So I should keep watching.
You should.
I will keep watching. Look, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. The part that I saw, I did enjoy it. I just was a little unclear about how I was supposed to be feeling about it.
It's a Baz Luhrmann movie, so it's like a big mishmash of a lot of stuff.
Right,
and if you don't like him,
you're not going
to like this.
No, not at all. So my other thing about it, and it kind of took me out of it a little bit. So it's set in the
77, I believe.
77 in the 70s. I felt a lot of the language between the kids was very 2016.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a teenager in the 70s, but I don't think that I would be talking about getting D amongst the young. I mean, it's like
I'm glad that was exactly the part where I was like, this girl is like yelling across the street about how she's going to get some D. And I'm like, what? This is not the 70s. I don't think that's what happened.
It was really interesting because the girls, especially the 2 best friends of Mylene, not so much Mylene, are very, out there sexually. And the boys are like they're like way behind.
Right,
they're
very
romantic.
behind.
Ezekiel is like a romantic. He's just a pure romantic. And
right.
I loved watching him.
He wanted to ask Mylene to be his girlfriend, and she had other plans. Also, Jaden Smith is in this show.
He's not the best.
I'm
not really enjoying his character so much.
When I saw that character, I was like, that looks like Jaden Smith. That can't be Jaden Smith.
It's Jaden Smith.
When did they shoot this show?
Oh, I think they've been shooting it for like almost 2 years before it came out.
That makes sense because he doesn't look anything like that now. All right, so The Get Down is a show that I am on the fence about. Vicki,
it's got problems. See, the thing is, like, for me, I am actually very forgiving of a lot of shows, and I will, like, if there are like moments that I really like, I'll probably keep watching it. But if you like, it's like with UnREAL, it's like if you do. You can go a step too far, and then I just cut you off, and that's it. And so, as long as The Get Down doesn't like turn around a character in 30 seconds, if it doesn't like make any major stumbles, then I'll probably stick with it because I think it's got a good heart.
I'm going to stick with it because I really enjoyed the music. All of the musical elements I was all for, and like you said, when Mylene was singing at the piano, I could listen to that all day. So I will continue watching it. And when we're done with how many episodes are?
Well, it's I think split into 2 parts. So I think there's like 6 or 7. I don't know. I think it's 6 episodes now, and then another 6 episodes in the fall.
Oh, geez.
Not mistaken?
Well, I didn't know all that. Okay, fine.
I'm not in the fall, and next year.
It's split, next year?
It's split into 2.
Oh, Netflix. Not a good idea. But anyway, I will watch the first 6 or 7. We'll come back and talk about it.
Maybe 12 episodes now and 12 episodes later?
Excuse me?
Sorry, I don't know. I have screeners for 7, and I got through 3.
All right. Well, however many there are, we will watch them, and then we'll talk about it when it's complete. So when we're done, so that it can be a full picture evaluation. And you guys should watch that. So The Get Down premieres on Friday on Netflix. Okay, final show that we're going to talk about, one that we've been watching all season, The Night Of. So now we're about 5 episodes in.
Yeah.
So the episodes that we're watching now, you did not see previously because you only saw the first 4
yes.
for review. I'm still in.
Of course.
It's good. However, so now Nas, he's in prison. He's decided to work with Michael K. Williams' character or ask him for protection. And on this week's episode, there was a whole sequence of events involving grapes and drugs and delicate places that I did not need to see.
Yeah. I did not need to imagine some of it.
I didn't need to imagine it. I didn't need to see it. I didn't need to know that it happened. It's disgusting.
I think you needed to see him, like, seriously trying to... I thought that was a very powerful scene when he's trying to eat I guess it's cocaine. I don't know what is in there. Heroin.
I think it's heroin.
Whatever drugs are in the little packets, he has to eat them in front of John Turturro and the Indian American lawyer, the young lawyer. And... It was really painful to see him, to watch. It was painful to watch him do that. And when John Turturro says at the end of the scene, you keep doing this, and he makes that, it's like, it's going to be over for you. That's it.
Like, if they find out, if you get caught.
But he says, I understand you're doing what you have to do.
Correct.
This is a very clear-eyed
So here's the thing. So now, Nas, who we only know to be as
this is also very interesting.
An innocent college student, or we think he's innocent. We didn't see him kill the young woman, and now he's in prison, and he has sort of been forced into the life of a criminal so that he could protect himself and stay alive, because otherwise I think he was going to be murdered. And so now he's taken this turn where he shaves his head. He looks more like a criminal every day.
And the guy in the last episode, the sort of crazy guy who got really angry at Nas for not taking a plea deal, and for saying that he didn't do it when everybody believes that he did it, which is something that this other guy is experienced with, like basically tries to burn him. And then when he goes to Michael K. Williams for protection, they basically give this guy a beatdown, and then they say, okay, you've got to give him a beatdown. And he gives him a brutal beatdown and kicks him.
At first he doesn't. He resists. And then the guy says something about him being a homosexual, and then Nas goes crazy.
Yeah.
And
you never know what darkness lurks in the hearts of men.
You never do. But here's where I don't want to see this going. I don't want it to turn out that, in fact, Nas did not kill whatever her name was, but he does something terrible in prison, and then he ends up there.
But I mean, that's kind of, I think that's what the criminal justice system is flawed and it creates criminals. I think is kind of their thesis.
But I don't want that to happen. I mean, it's so because right now we're only 5 episodes in, and I've already predicted that's what's going to happen.
Would you feel better if you found out he did it and then he also turned into this horrible, hideous man? Okay,
because then that would be unexpected.
That's really positive.
Well, I just want something to surprise me. I don't want to watch a series for 8 episodes, 8 hours, and know what happens midway through. Like, I don't want to guess. Like, I don't want my guess to be accurate. Then that, to me, says that there's flawed storytelling.
Do you think that George R.R. Martin, Game of Thrones, is flawed storytelling because Jon Snow, of course, is the child of Lyanna and Rhaegar?
No, because I still don't know who is going to take the throne at the end.
Okay.
I can still guess. But if it's, if this turns
out...
out...
there's a certain naturalness of what is happening here.
Then I don't need to watch. I don't need to watch.
Then you just watch a documentary
because
about
I'll tell you what, of all the things that are happening, what is possibly the least interesting is who killed Random Girl. What is her name?
What's going on with John Turturro's feet? I'm constantly fascinated. I'm sorry. I love the subplot with his feet and Fisher Stevens being the pharmacist. You hate the feet. I hate the feet.
I will say that one of our coworkers, Matt Stanmeyer, has a theory that the feet, the cat, and the asthma all tie into the murder.
Of course. So the cat and the asthma, certainly. I don't know about the feet. But the cat and the asthma, absolutely.
Well, we shall see. Mm-hmm. That's going to do it for this episode of TV Hangover. We will not be back next week. Vicky's going on vacation, so I'm taking a break as well. But hopefully we'll be back the week after. Follow us on Twitter at TV Hangover Show, at E_meds, and at Vicki Hy, VICKIHY.